next question is about sales. Now, this question comes all the way from Australia. I love it. Ron from Australia listens to the program live here on cliff.com, KLIF.com, listens to the program, but he also listens to the rebroadcast on Spotify, which all of you can do the same thing. You know, it doesn't matter if you are not here in the local Dallas-Fort Worth area where I broadcast from. You could be anywhere around the world, and you can just hop on to Cliff, KLIF.com. That's the radio station. And you can listen to my program on Sundays at 1 p.m. Central or whatever time zone it is for you. You don't have to wait around for the rebroadcast to hit the podcast platforms. Ron's question, great question. And again, one of these questions that I could take hours to answer. My sales course dives into this. His question was, and again, it's a sort of a summary of some of the other ones that were very similar, but he worded it best. He said, what are the greatest sales flaws? What are the greatest sales flaws? And part of what he was talking about was, how do you, as a professional salesperson, what are the mistakes that you can make that can cause you not to have success? And boy, great question, Ron. Let me give you the first one. There's many answers to this. I'm going to give you the top 3 or 4 just for time's sake. But number one, asking poor questions is a great sales flaw. If you are a professional service provider, meaning you are bringing solutions to the table to help someone else relieve whatever problem they have or enhance their life experience to one extent or another, and they are coming to you for that experience or for those solutions, or maybe you've met them somehow and you are at that point where you're having a discussion, asking poor questions will always create a less than experience for them, because you're not going to get enough intel. You're not going to really get a chance to know who your client is, what their needs are, what their wants are, and at the end, you're going to make either a unsuitable recommendation. In other words, your recommendation is not really going to suit their needs, or you're going to make recommendation after recommendation that they're going to quickly figure out, is this person even listening to me? I told them I want this, that, and the other, and they're offering me things that don't line up with what I want or what my desire is. Is this person listening? Well, if you ask poor questions, by the way, a good question are questions that peel the onion. They really get to the core of why that person wants that, and why is it that they are seeking this particular product or that service or the opportunity. Asking great questions will give you deeper intel. Poor questions won't. Poor questions result in more than likely an insufficient experience for them and certainly for you. Here's the second flaw. Foregoing getting better. The greatest sales flaw I see that most salespeople have is that they don't think it's important for them to get better. They think just because they've had a modicum of success that they now have arrived, that they don't need to learn anything more. They don't have to grow anymore. They don't have to study anymore. They don't have to sharpen their axes anymore. And that's a huge mistake. When I speak to sales managers and sales directors, they all agree that becomes the crux of the lack of growth for their organization. Not enough salespeople, sales executives, sales professionals really understand the value of pursuing getting better year after year. They forego getting better. That's the second flaw. Ron, let me give you the last flaw. And again, there's many, many more. The last flaw is not knowing your product as well as you should. You can be a great presenter. You can have all the attributes of a great salesperson. You can ask great questions and you can position your proposal wonderfully, but you lack the fundamental knowledge of your product as best you can, or with the details that you need in order to succeed. I've seen this happen so many times. Great presenters, great charismatic salespeople, and they know their product half-fast. Well, if someone asks you a question about your product and you still don't have for them the answer they need, it's okay to say to them, I'll get that for you. But if your answer to them is, let me find out, let me get that answer for you, more than giving them the answer, that means that you lack fundamental understanding of the product, the benefits and the features it offers. And you're going to have a struggle selling, closing more people because they're not going to really have that full faith in you. You will lose the credibility of a subject matter expert over your product.